Hello, you guys. So, today I am making a new video. This one is pretty much going to be for all the parents that's bringing their babies with them while they're getting stationed here to Fort Wainwright, or just going to be moving to Fairbanks pretty soon. Pretty much this video is gonna tell you some information that you're gonna need to know for your kids, and I hope this is helpful. These things I've learned on my 2 year journey of living here. No one told me the majority of these things. I had to pretty much, with some things, just be hit in the face while I was here and learn about it. But I literally make these videos just to help people that are coming and are not getting the information they need on TikTok or pretty much YouTube or even the spouse's page. When you go on Fort Wainwright, you can get information, but you don't get the actual information that you need per se. That's how I personally feel, which is my opinion about it. But I'm hoping that these things will be helpful for you. As you guys know, I've been here for 2 years officially on November 3rd, and I have one more year. One more year, I'm gonna be thugging it out here, and then we finally get to go to our new duty station. We do not know just yet. All I know is that it has to be a place that doesn't snow. Take me back to somewhere where I came from. Like, it doesn't have to be Georgia. I'll be fine with North Carolina. I'll even take Florida at this. I'll even take Tennessee, Kentucky. I don't even care at this point. Just as long as the next duty station has no snow at all, like none. I don't want to see snow for the next like 6 years of my life. I've had enough in the 2 years that I've been here, and I have to experience it again next year because from what I've heard from my husband, we technically don't leave until November of next year. So fingers crossed it's earlier, but I know that's not gonna happen. But to get on with the video, these are the things I feel is going to be helpful to all the people that's going to be coming here with their kids and what you should know before you get here. So let's get started with the video. All right, so the first thing on my little list is winter gear. Of course, I know you've heard me say this like 1,000 times in the video, and it's so obvious. But maybe to some people, it may not be as obvious of what exactly to get. When I consider winter gear, I only consider like some good sturdy shoes, a good heavy coat, a hat, and maybe some gloves, and that's about it. But no, coming to Alaska, it's a whole different story. Not only do you need that big heavy duty coat, you need good snow pants. You need good snow boots. Yes, you need gloves. I would suggest getting the regular, cloth gloves. But not only that, you actually need snow gloves as well. So, what I do for my kids, because lately it's been like -10 outside when they go catch the bus in the morning for the last few days, I have them wear the cloth gloves, and then they wear the snow gloves on top of it. Also, make sure they have a good hat that can keep their little ears warm. I noticed some kids wear earmuffs and scarves. I think that's actually really good. You can get the scarves to wrap up their little faces, or the little mask, that has their little eyes out and wraps up their faces. I think that is actually really good as well, because not gonna lie, how the weather has been these last few weeks, well, actually a few days, not even a few weeks, the last few days, and how the temperature is going to be for the rest of this week, you need as many layers as you possibly can, and you need to make sure that everything is covered up. For the past few days, since I'm no longer working, I've been helping my kids in the morning time since I actually have time, and I have a job with my 5-year-old because she never wants to do right. And it's been so cold, I don't even let the kids stand outside anymore. What my kids do, we have their little Arctic room by the front door, and I'll just let them stand there and wait for the bus. And there's a window in there so they can look out the window, or pretty much I have them just sit in the living room, open the blinds, and look and see if the bus is coming. Because luckily, I live by the bus stop. So that's perfect for my kids. They do have the luxury to just sit in the house and wait for the bus because it's been literally that cold. On here, I'm just going to show you some examples of what I bought for my kids when it came to a coat, gloves, snow boots, snow pants, and all that stuff. I would suggest also buying extra when it comes to the gloves and the hats. I'm gonna tell you why. I don't know, do anybody else have these problems? But my kids lose everything. They do. They lose everything. They are leaving it on the bus. They are leaving it at the playground at school because they are still able to go to recess if it's not under negative 20 degrees. They still can go outside and play for at least, I think, 15 to 20 minutes every day. So I make sure to buy extra all the time because you literally just never know. I must say, like, probably once or twice a month, I have a kid coming home that's missing a glove, missing the both of their gloves, or better yet, missing a hat. So make sure, please, once you get your kids that want to get, just make sure you have extras when it comes to gloves and hats because you're really gonna need it. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is vitamin D. So vitamin D has never been a thing in my household that we had to talk about lack of ever. I've never had a problem with vitamin D deficiency as long as I can remember, and my children have never had it as well until we moved here because of course when the winter times comes there's not as much sunlight, so you're pretty much in the darkest majority of the time and you're not getting that vitamin D from the sunlight. So one good thing I will say about being here, I don't know, do they do this at any other military base, but here at Bassett you can actually go to the pharmacy and all you would have to do is bring your military ID and either your kid's military ID or your spouse's, and you can actually get medicine from the pharmacy for free. Yes, you heard me. Free. Yes, you can get Tylenol, kids ibuprofen. You can also get adult Tylenol, adult ibuprofen. You can get Mylanta, Pepto Bismol, and you can also get vitamin D. Yes, I have so much vitamin D here. I did not know I had vitamin D deficiency until I had been feeling tired all the time, but I was thinking it was just because I had a cold. And I went to the doctor, did some blood work, and find out that I had very low vitamin D in my system. And with that being said, your kids have low vitamin D, they continue to stay sick all the time. My kids have never been sick, and myself, because I do have a low immune system, but I've never been sick so much. Also, my kids, until we moved here. My husband actually has a great immune system, but he stays sick a lot these days. And I do think it's probably because his vitamin D levels are low as well, but he's hard headed and don't want to take the vitamins. But I have them just in case he does change his mind. Also, I do give them to my kids as well. So if you want to beforehand, you can get some vitamin D vitamins. I see that a lot of parents buy theirs, like for the kids, they get the drops and they get them from Amazon. I didn't do that. I just went to the pharmacy at Bassett and got just the regular little white pills. And me and the kids take those once a day. Also my kids do drink a lot of milk, but yeah, I don't think that'll be enough. So yeah, they would still need the vitamins. Also, just make sure that your kids just take vitamins in general just to build their immune system up. My immune system was horrible when I got here. Like after a few months of being here, I would be sick a month, well a month, sick a month, well a month. So I had to get some vitamins for myself. Also, my kids. My kids stay sick. My kids miss school, all four children. So all four missed school probably about, I want to say 4 to 5 each child, probably 3 to 4. I'll say each child missed about 3 to 4 months 3 to 4 days, I'm sorry, of school a month because they're always sick because they're not catching it on the bus from somebody, they're catching it at school. So yes, definitely before you get here with your babies, make sure you do have some kind of vitamin D for them or some kind of vitamins as well just to build their immune system up. Like I said before, if you don't have the vitamin D when you get here, you can always go to Bassett and you can get some for free at the pharmacy. But yes, definitely make sure you have vitamin D and also just vitamins in general to build you and your baby's immune system up. Right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is military IDs. So we already know about the military IDs that of course the spouses have military IDs, the servicemen they have their ID as well. And if I'm not mistaken, this is just trying to grab from my memory. I know teenagers have to have military IDs as well. I want to say they have to be 16, but I may be wrong. But this is just me remembering from years ago when I knew people that had teenagers and their kids were over 16 and had IDs. Well, now, here at Fort Wainwright, it is actually mandatory that your child, if they are 10 years old and older, they have to have a military ID. Now, I never had to go through this while I was at Fort Moore, didn't know anything about it. No one ever said anything. Every time I went to a doctor's appointment, the only ID that had to be shown was either me or my husband. Not here at Fort Wainwright. So if you're taking your child who is 10 years old or older to the clinic or to the hospital or even to pick up their medication for the pharmacy, you have to have a military ID for them. It is mandatory, or you will not be able to get them seen or they won't be able to get their medicine. I didn't know that was a thing until I got here one day. It was started actually in the beginning of this year in January. I went to just a regular checkup and they were giving out the flyers. So yes, it is definitely a mandatory thing if you're at another duty station right now, but you're going to be on your way here, if not in a few months, few weeks, or next year, please make sure that if your child is 10 years old or older, that they have a military ID because it is definitely mandatory while being here to be seen at the hospital, the clinic, and also to pick up medication at the pharmacy. So next we're going to talk about that there are no free preschools here. So when we were living in Fort Mitchell and we were stationed at Fort Benning, which is now Fort Moore, I was so excited that my youngest daughter was turning 3 because I was like, yes, she's turning 3. I can put her in preschool. But then next thing I know, we get orders to Fort Wainwright. I assumed that Alaska was pretty much going to be the same how Alabama was. They actually have free preschool, and in Columbus, Georgia as well, they have free preschool, but in Columbus, Georgia, it's done by the lottery versus in Fort Mitchell, Alabama, it's like first come, first serve. So whoever, how many kids are able to like put in their application, the parents put in the application, those are the kids that's going to be in that preschool class. Well, when I got here, I was assuming that it was going to be the same thing, and it's not that way. So technically, there is a preschool, but and it's doesn't cost anything. But this is the thing: the only way the kids are able to go to the preschool is if there's some kind of special need for them, like maybe they have speech problems or something like that, or maybe special needs, then they'll be able to go to that preschool. But other than that, my daughter was not eligible to go to preschool. We had to, of course, wait until she got to kindergarten. Now, they do have preschools here, but you do have to pay for them. My friend, she was my next door neighbor. She just moved a few months ago. She ended up paying for her daughter to go to preschool, and I want to say she had to wear a uniform and everything. And her daughter's preschool is like $600 a month. We couldn't afford that because they only had one child. We got four. And no, we couldn't afford to be paying $600 a month. That's like half of my paycheck that I was making paying for daycare, and I was working from home, so it just didn't make any sense for me to do that when I'm just working from home. She could just stay at home with me for free, and I could keep my money and spend it on bills and foods and the essential things that we need. So yes, if you do want to take your kids to preschool, you can, but you will have to pay for it. Or if your kid may have special needs, may not have great speech, then yes, your child will be able to go to preschool on post. I ran into a situation like this when I was at Fort Bragg, now Fort Liberty, years ago. I think they actually do the same thing there, but my situation was different at that time because my oldest daughter actually did not know how to talk. She was 3 years old. So she was able to get into a preschool for free to help with her speech, which it was a great school. She's 14 years old now. She talks me to death. So they actually did do a great job with her. But yes, there are technically no free schools on no free preschools on Fort Wainwright, but they definitely have some off posts that you will have to pay for monthly. So next we're going to talk about the elementary schools, and that the majority of the elementary schools here are K through 8. Now, all the other states I lived in, Mississippi, North Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, the grades are kind of split up to where elementary is usually K through 5th. Middle school is usually 6th through 8th, and then we have high school. That's 9th through 12th, of course. Being here, this was the first time I ever experienced having elementary schools that are K through 8th. The main school on Fort Wainwright, which is Arctic Light, is K through 9. My youngest two children, they go to Ladd Elementary, and Ladd Elementary is K through 8th. My two oldest, they could have stayed at Ladd. They went to Ladd for elementary school. They could have stayed. But of course, you know how kids are. They want to chase after their friends. And my kids decided that they wanted to go to Tanana instead, which is 6th through 8th. Yeah, I want to say 6th through 8th because my daughter Peyton is in the 8th and my daughter Jordan is in the 6th. But yes, the majority of the elementary schools are K through 8th. I wish my kids honestly had all stayed in one school together because it would have made things simpler for me. But yeah, my youngest two, they love Lad, and my oldest two, they love Tanana. So I guess we're just gonna keep it that way. And also another thing that I did not know, but a friend let me learn this recently. Kindergarten is actually not mandatory here. I had no idea. In majority of the states how kindergarten is mandatory, it is not mandatory here. So your kid technically does not have to start kindergarten. They can just start first grade. But I was going to get Aaron out this house. Like, no, Aaron was not going to continue to harass me. She had to go to school and she loves it. She goes to Lad. She's how her class is made up. It's kindergarten and first grade. So our neighbor that's like 3 houses down, their daughter is in the first grade, and her and my daughter are friends, and they so happen to be in the same class together, which I feel is great. So yeah, just to let you parents know, the majority of the elementary schools is K through 8, and kindergarten is not recommended. But I personally, as a parent, would say let those babies go and give you a little break, because I definitely had to let mine give me a little break. So we have came to the end of the video. I tried to make it as short as possible. I hope that it was helpful. Please, if you have any more questions, feel free to comment. I will try my best to comment as quick as I possibly can. I try to look at my notifications every day to see who's saying something. So I'm hoping everything was informative to you. Like I said before, you have questions, please ask. And I hope you guys have a great day. And thanks for watching my video. Bye.